Greetings, everyone. I have posterior tibial tendonitis, which is the inflammation of the tendon on the inside of the foot below the ankle, which wraps around to the back of the foot and connects to the lower leg. I also have, I think it's called metatarsalgia, which is, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, which is the inflammation of the tissue on the bottom of the foot, just behind the toes, both of which are common injuries for hikers and runners. The former of the two is the most acute. I've got a pretty severe version of it. I was basically advised to stay off of it for 2 to 3 weeks. So that ends the hike. I cannot afford to take any more time off. I need to be done with this by a certain date. I know that chiropractic care can speed the process up. There's a chiropractor here. I can't get an appointment until next week. I'm in Sonora, which is in basically the middle of nowhere. I took a bus here early yesterday after staying at the lodge. So I know I told a shorter version of what happened in the last video. And I'm not sure if there's a correlation between the two of these or the three of these events, but the day before the foot injury, I took 2 nasty spills. I tripped over a branch or something at one point after doing about 20 miles for the day. I was shooting for 30, but I ended up falling forward really hard, and I didn't have time to break the fall and slammed my head on a rock right here, like really hard. The sound was so loud that it reverberated through my whole body, and just the sound itself shocked me. I didn't have any concussion symptoms. I didn't get dizzy. I didn't pass out. I was dizzy for a minute, but it was basically a lot of pain. I didn't get nauseous or sick. So I sat there for about 15 minutes. Then I hiked on, and then not too long after that, I was trying to cross a creek over this big log, and the log kind of shifted when I stepped on it, and I fell about 4 feet onto the creek bed on my butt, scraped both of my legs, and I said at that point, maybe I should not hike the rest of the day. I was afraid something else might happen. So I found a place to pitch my tent, and the next morning I proceeded to hike. I started early, and it was a series of steep ups and downs for like the first 10 miles with a lot of rocks on the trail. And after about 10 miles, I started feeling this pain in my right foot. And it was similar to a pain I had earlier in the hike. If you remember, in the first few hundred miles, I had this pain, but it went away in a day. I didn't feel it since. But the pain got so bad at this point that I couldn't even walk another step. So I had to sit on the trail waiting for someone to come. And about an hour and a half later, my trail family ended up showing up. And we taped my foot up. They gave me a bunch of ibuprofen for the pain, and then they split my gear up to help me carry it, which is very nice of them. They walked me down a few miles down the trail. There was a ranger station, but it was closed. So the plan was, I had about 3 days of food on me, and the plan was they were going to walk forward about 30 miles to Kennedy Meadows North, and when they got service, they were going to call the Forestry Service for help to send a ranger. But later on that night, before I went to sleep, I saw these 2 hikers coming up this side trail. And I asked them about it, and they said it led to the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, where there was a ranger station that was open. That was about an 18-mile hike. It was pretty easy. So the next morning, I made the executive decision and hiked down this side trail. I hobbled. It was kind of painful, but the trail was relatively easy until the end. And I found a ranger nice enough to drive me to this lodge that I was staying at. And then yesterday early, I took a bus to here, Sonora. I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, and I had to walk like 15, 20 minutes today to get lunch, which was painful, but at least it was on a road, not a trail. So unfortunately, I've got to take a bus to Fresno because I tried to rent a car. There's actually an Enterprise car service here, but they won't do it one way, so I have to take like a 10-hour bus ride. But I feel like the trail was throwing everything at me to get me to quit since I got into the Sierra. I really flew through the desert well. I was well trained. I spent a lot of time, preparing for this hike for the last couple of years, financially, logistically, mentally. I took 4 or 5 months to train before I left. But there's really nothing I can do about it. I can't afford to wait 2 or 3 weeks. I need to be done by a certain date. I muscled through, a lot of stuff. I got through the elevation issues I was having. I couldn't breathe above a certain height. I couldn't sleep above 10,000 feet. I went nights in a row without sleeping a minute, which was pretty torturous and caused a chronic fatigue. Dealing with the snow itself, I did some things like going over these passes, which I've never done before. I got a crash course in mountaineering, which was fun and exciting, but dangerous. Going over Forester Pass was the first pass I ever did. It was 13,000 feet. And at the top of the pass, it's like this. So, I was digging in with the ice axe and the spikes, and one little slip and you're going down the mountain. So it was exciting but dangerous. I muscled through all that. I literally almost got out of the Sierra, and this happened. So I'm not sure if there's any correlation between the falls and my foot injury, but it is what it is. I'm not upset. I'm not let down. I'm not depressed or angry. I am a little emotionally conflicted. I don't want to leave the trail, but there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't do this hike to find myself or to get answers to things. I just did it for the fun and the challenge of the hike. I'm proud of myself. I did hike just about 1,000 miles, which most people don't do. The trail is not going anywhere, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I really met a lot of amazing people along the way, both on the trail, hikers, people off the trail in the towns, especially trail angels. I finally got my trail name, Mojave, and I never really discussed that. I mentioned it, but a few people asked. So when I met my trail family in Mammoth Lakes, we were having lunch, and they asked me my favorite section of the trail, and I said the Mojave Desert, which kind of surprised everyone because most people hate the desert, but I love it. And I said, yeah, I was flying through the desert. Now I'm dying in the Sierra. So that became my trail name, and it stuck. But I did the YouTube channel for the fun, and it really created a lot of positive energy. There were people that I don't even know that I met virtually on YouTube. They gave me a lot of encouragement. I got a lot of text messages from my friends on a daily basis, giving me positive energy and encouragement, and which meant a lot. It kept me going. I want to thank my mom for sending me packages that I needed. She has a lot going on, and took the time to do that when no one else would. That's really all I have to say. It's been an exciting journey, and hopefully I can share more adventures on this channel. Maybe I'll do a shorter hike next summer. Maybe I'll come back and finish the PCT. I don't know, but all I know is that I can't afford to wait much longer because I did take way too many days off in the Sierra. And if I take, even a week or two off, I'm not going to be able to finish in time. So I have the entire summer off because I cleared my gig schedule until early October. So maybe I'll go visit some friends and do some things that I've been putting off. But again, thank you all for joining me on my journey. And I love you. Bye.